Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. I welcome you all to the fourth lecture for the course of electronics. My name is Engineer Jafar Ali and I am instructor for this course. Let's start with the recapitulation of the previous lecture. In the previous lecture, we have discussed about different type of special purpose diode, starting from Zener, Varictor, tunnel, Schottky, LED, photodiode, optical diodes, and some other few types of special purpose diodes. Now, all of these diodes have their own speciality and their own applications, but few of them are used vastly at different aspects of technology and science. So one of them is Zener diode. So that is why we are going towards the depth of the details of Zener diode. So today in this class we are going to learn more about the Zener diode, that what is Zener diode actually and how does it work actually. We are also going to look at the construction of Zener diode, that how Zener diode is actually made, and what are the parameters that affects the reverse bias, or you can say the reverse voltage working operations. Similarly, we will look at the working of Zener diode, that what makes it work in the reverse breakdown voltage, and later on we will see that what are the different applications of Zener diode, how it's implemented in different circuits and different electronic gadgets. And in the last of today's lecture we will be covering some numericals about Zener diode, so that the idea of its working gets you clearly. Now, starting with the introduction of Zener diode, as you know that Zener, we have discussed in the previous class that it is the kind of diode which actually works in the reversed bias voltage. So Zener diode is basically a silicon pin junction device, and it is different from the common rectifier device or diodes because it is designed for the operation in the reverse breakdown voltage. This is what we have studied in the last class as well, but in a very brief. So it actually works in the reverse breakdown region, and it's specially designed for that actually. And the breakdown voltage of a Zener diode is set by carefully controlling the level during manufacture. And what does this mean, that what kind of leveling it makes over here? It is basically the level of doping, that how much doping will increase how much of conductivity in the reverse breakdown voltage region. So it basically the level of doping, it is basically the level of doping which changes the property of any Zener diode in the reverse bias mode. So the basic function of Zener diode is to maintain a specific voltage across its terminal within the given limits of line or load change. We will look at in the detail of what is line and load change in today's class, inshallah. And typically it is used to provide a stable reference voltage for use in power supplies, specifically in power supplies and other equipments that are more sensitive. You know that power supply is a very sensitive device, and in the previous class, in lecture 2 actually, I have described you the methodology of developing your own power supply with given short resources. So this is the basic circuit diagram of a Zener diodes. A particular Zener diode circuit will be working on 10 volts actually across the load. So this is your Zener, and this is your load, and this is R is basically your load, and sorry, resistance, and this is your voltage supply to the resistance. And from here you can easily get the 10 volt, and you can connect it to the load. And this is basically the circuit diagram of a Zener diode. The normal diode is actually represented as this diagram, but in Zener diode we have to put some lines over here, these two lines. This makes it different from a common p-n junction diode. Now coming towards the PN junction, construction of Zener diode, you know that it is designed specifically to work in the reverse bias region or reverse breakdown voltage. So it is important to consider it as in terms of construction. So there are two types of reverse breakdown in Zener diodes, and what is known as Zener, and one is known as avalanche. These are two types of Zener diode actually, and the avalanche breakdown occurs in both rectifier and the Zener diodes at sufficiently high reverse voltage. We will see that in the diagram in the next slide, inshallah. A Zener breakdown occurs in the Zener diode at low reverse voltages. So Zener breakdown, there are two types of breakdown. One is known as avalanche breakdown, and the other one is known as Zener breakdown. Zener breakdown is normally occur at low reverse voltages, while avalanche breakdown occurs at both at high reverse voltage. This is to be kept in mind that avalanche is for higher reverse voltage and Zener is for low reverse voltage. A xenon diode is heavily doped to reduce the breakdown voltage. This causes a very thin depletion region. So you see that if you increase the level of doping, you are actually decreasing the depletion region, or you can say you are making it very thin. The Zener diode breakdown characteristics are defined and determined by the doping process. So the Zener diode breakdown characteristics are determined by the doping process. We have discussed that due to the difference in the leveling of doping, it changes the characteristics of the Zener diode breakdown voltages. So Zener diode are commercially available with the range of 1.8 volt up to 200 volts. So you can get easily these from the market if you want to use Zener. There is a variety of Zener available in the market, and the range, it ranges from 1.8 volts up to 200 volts, and the difference between these voltages is because of the level of doping that is used to build that Zener or to make that Zener. Now coming towards the working or operation of Zener diode. A Zener diode is much like a normal diode, and the only exception being is that it is placed that if it is placed in the circuit in the reverse bias, it will definitely operates in that reverse breakdown region. And this typical characteristics curve actually operates from range of Zener. So for the forward region, it is similar to the common normal diode, normal p junction diode, but for the reverse region actually it is different from common diode. You see that there is no difference between this is the Zener diode, this is your normal Zener diode, and this is your common diode, basically your rectifier diode, p junction diode. So you see that this region is almost same. This region is almost same, but the only difference is that this shaded area. You can see that normal p junction diodes operate at a very small level, and this is, we have discussed that it is due to some leakage in the circuit. This is only a small voltage, but in the Zener diode actually you can see that we can use that also for conduction in the even reverse bias, or you can say reverse breakdown region. So you can use this region as well in the Zener diode, while you cannot use same region in this rectifier diode. So this is the main difference between the working or operation of a common p-n junction diode or a rectifier diode as compared with Zener diode. Now coming towards the breakdown characteristics, this is the most important diagram for a Zener diode, so you have to understand it very well before coming to the numerical portion of a Zener diode. So this figure shows actually the reverse portion of a Zener diode characteristic curve. Let me show you. And as the reverse voltage VR is increased, as you increase this this voltage, IR, the current, that is the reverse current, remains extremely small up to a knee. This is your knee. This portion is your knee. The reverse current is also called as Zener current, IZ at this point. This is your IZ, Zener knee current. You see that this is the diagram which is showing your different points. This is your basically the Zener test point, Zener test current, and this is your maximum current which you can achieve from a Zener. So Zener has also its limitations because you cannot increase the voltage or the current to infinite point. So you have some maximum point as well, and that maximum current is actually termed as Zener maximum current, or it is represented by IZM. Now coming towards the Zener breakdown, we have discussed that Zener avalanche are two effects. One is on low voltages and one is on high voltages. We have discussed that in the previous slide, that Zener operates at low voltage and avalanche effects occurs on high voltage. These both are responsible for this dramatic increase in the value of current at the breakdown voltage. So this is because of the impurity concentration. If the impurity concentration is kept very high, then the width of depletion region becomes very much less. If you increase the doping level, so you see that this is our normal p-n junction, and if you increase the doping level, this will definitely becomes thinner and thinner, and the more thinner it gets, the more conductivity it means. So it will, the less width of depletion region will cause a high intensity of electric field because of the because there will be no distance, or you can say barrier, between the different types of material, and there will be easy flow of for electrons or charges from one type to another type. So this has to be kept in mind before working upon a Zener diode. Let's take an example to understand this thing clearly. Let's say that we have a width of depletion region that is very small, that is, let's say 200 Armstrong. This is the unit of distance, let's say, and if a reverse bias voltage of just 4 volts is applied to the diode, then the electric field intensity is in the depletion region will be given by 4 divided by 200 Armstrong. Armstrong basically represents 10 power minus 10. So this will be the electric field intensity in the depletion region, that is 2 into 10 power 8 volts per meter. So you see that this is a very huge value. The electric field intensity is too much high over here because the depletion region is very small. Merely a 4 voltage is responsible to generate electric field intensity of 2 into 10 power 8. This is not 108, this is basically actually 10 power 8, 10 raised to power 8, which is very high intensity, and this is because of the very small depletion region width. And let's say this electric field is sufficient to rupture the bonds and separate the valence electrons from their respective nuclei. So we have discussed that that energy is needed if you want to go from conduction valence region to conduction region. So if you provide such much intensity of electric field, there will be a definite chance that electrons or different electrons from valence shell will definitely go towards the conduction region by separating themselves from their respective nuclei. So this is the main reason because that supports the working of a Zener diode. When the large number of electrons gets separated from their atoms, and this results in sudden increase in the values of reverse current. you see that if there is a large number of electrons that get separated, so there will be a chance of getting much positive charges of that nucleus. So it will maybe it is a there is a huge possibility that a reverse current definitely occurs over here, and this current is the value of this current can be high because there is, if the number of electrons that are leaving their nuclei is very large, so there will be huge plus charge on that nuclei as well. This explanation that I just gave you is actually given by the scientist that is uh, whose name was C. Zener, and on his name, this the diode is actually named on this scientist that is Zener. So Zener diode or Zener effect actually predominates in the diodes whose breakdown voltage is below 6 volt. So it predominates it or it overcomes that diodes. It is more useful as compared to the diodes that normally breakdown voltage whose breakdown voltage is normally below 6 volt. Now coming towards the effect of avalanche in the Zener diode, we have learned that avalanche is basically a effect that occurs at a high voltage. So Zener effect predominates on the we have discussed that Zener effect predominates on the diodes which whose breakdown voltage is below 6 volt. So the breakdown voltage can be obtained at a large value by reducing the concentration of impurity atoms. So you have to basically reduce the concentration of the doping level or the impurity atom so that you can achieve the avalanche effect. There is a diagram over here. In this diagram you can see that this is your P region, this is your N region, and if you increase the depletion region range, you have to require a huge electric field that can overlap this effect, or you can say that can overcome this huge width of depletion region. So this is for this you need a huge voltage, and that voltage is basically known as avalanche breakdown voltage. So we have discussed that avalanche effect occurs at high voltages. So you will be needing a high voltage to overcome such kind of scenarios. So let's see the difference between the avalanche and Zener breakdown regions. In Zener breakdown region, this occurs at the junction which is being heavily doped and have narrow depletion layers. So in the opposite, avalanche effect occurs when there is the junctions are lightly doped and they have there is a high width of depletion regions between the layers. So in this avalanche effect or avalanche breakdown, the region of depletion region is of high width. This is a P type, this is an N type, and the width of this depletion region is too high due to less doping. Similarly, this is opposite. There will be a narrow or you can say a thin depletion region, and this is because of heavily doping. So heavily doping means less width, and low doping means wide range of depletion region, or you can say the high width of a depletion region. So this in Zener diode, the breakdown voltage sets across very high strong electric field across this narrow thin layer. The electric field is very high because the distance, or you can say the barrier, is very much thin. And in the avalanche effect, electric field is not that strong and to produce enough Zener breakdown voltage. So you have to come with very high voltage because electric field is not that much strong because of the width that is too much high in case of avalanche breakdown. Here in the Zener diode, the electric field is very strong, and to rupture the covalent bonds, thereby generating electron hole pairs. So even a small increase in reverse break, this is very important. So So if you increase a small reverse voltage, it is capable to producing a large number of current carriers, because there is a very thin depletion region. So you will be needing a small increase. If you want to increase the current, you will be needing a small increase in the uh, reverse voltage. So it will be resulting in large number of current carriers. And in the avalanche breakdown, it is the opposite, because of the same reason. You have to put a lot of effort in this. If you want to increase a small current, so you will be needing a high voltage in this reverse breakdown, that is avalanche. So Zener basically the Zener diode exhibits a negative temperature coefficient, and avalanche exhibit a positive temperature coefficient, because with increase in breakdown voltage, the temperature also increases. And in Zener diode, with increase with the decrease in the breakdown voltage, the temperature increases. So here the case is reverse between the temperature and voltage. This is the reverse scenario, you can say inversely proportional, and this is directly proportional with the temperature. This is directly proportional with the temperature directly. So these are the amazing diagram. From this diagram you can see that what I am trying to make you understand. In the PN junction, this is the basically PN junction breakdown characteristics. We are not interested in this region, we are interested in the reverse region actually. And this region is actually this region is normal diode, you can say, which works, and but in normal diode it is very thin like this. So we have to increase some voltages. This shows that it is working in the Zener region. So this till this region is basically your till this region, this is basically Zener breakdown region. This is very slow. You can see that this region, apart from this, from here to here, this is the region of Zener breakdown voltage. You can see that a slight change after the knee occurs. There is a avalanche breakdown. And if you increase voltage, you can see that if you increase voltage, this is the limit of avalanche breakdown. So avalanche breakdown, as I've told you, it occurs at high voltage, and it occurs at low voltage, Zener breakdown. So you see that it is occurring at, let's say, -4, and it is occurring at, let's say, 7. So this is the difference between the negative sign shows just the polarity. I'm talking about the amplitude of this voltage. As told you, as I have already told you, that avalanche is occurring at high voltages, so it means the amplitude should be high, and the negative sign doesn't show the amplitude, is actually shows the polarity. So do not worry about the sign. You have to look at the voltage over here, the amplitude of the voltage. That is 4. So it is a low voltage, so it should be in Zener breakdown region, and if the voltage gets high, it should be definitely in avalanche breakdown region. So depending upon different parameters, you have to select or you have to buy your Zener diode, and the sheet that contains all the information for any specific device is known as actually data sheet. We have discussed that what is data sheet. So before buying actually the diode, you have to look at the data sheet, and in the data sheet, what one should look for. You have to look for some quantities, and that quantities are basically VZ, IZT, ZZT, and ZK and IZF. These are the quantities that you look for before actually buying the diode. The first one is basically VZ, that is Zener diode. What is the voltage of Zener diode? The first value you have to look at in the data sheet is the VZ. The second thing is IZT, that what is the test current for that Zener diode, what is the Zener impedance, what is the knee current at Zener diode, and what is the maximum Zener current that is achievable in that Zener. So these values or these physical quantities are the ones in which you are interested before actually buying a Zener diode from the market, and this values can be easily taken from the data sheet. You can see that there is VZ available here, a diagram of IZ over here, and different other values, temperature, and you can say that power symbol, current, units, all the information is given about a specific diode in his or its Zener diode data sheet. So you have to download it before you actually buy that Zener. Now coming towards ideal model or an ideal characteristics of a Zener diode curve or Zener diode. So you see that this is the ideal let's say diode, and this is the curve, ideal curve that you want to achieve, but it is not practically implemented because there is some resistance in the path, or you can say internal resistance, or you can say the noise can be occurring over here. So due to that reason we are not getting such kind of graph. We always get such graph that is some kind of this. So this red line that I just draw is basically the actual curve, and this blue line shows the ideal curve. This is the ideal curve, and this is your actual curve. This line is your actual curve. So you always want to get the blue line, but it is not possible to get 100% of accurate readings with no noise or losses. So it is not achievable. This blue line is not achievable, and when you achieve this red line, this is your actual achievable line. You see that this is the practical model that I just showed you, and the reason is because the resistance is involved in that region. So you never ever get the straight line like this. You always get something like this, and this is because of the losses in the because of resistance, internal resistance, and any external resistance as well. Now coming towards the applications of a Zener diode. Zener diode actually regulates things and devices. So it is normally used as for regulation purposes. If you want to manipulate the voltage, you can use a Zener diode. You can see that in this circuit, as the voltage increases, the output voltage remains constant. So it is basically working as a stabilizer. You can see that if the input voltage increases, the output doesn't change, it remains constant. So you have increased the input, but the output has, you see that it will always be constant, because most of the current that is coming from here will be gone down here, as it is in the reverse region. You can see that it will be working in the reverse region. So most of the current will be grounded, and you will be able to keep this output voltage constant. Similarly, as the voltage decreases, the output voltage also remains constant. If you decrease the voltage, so the current that will be coming from here will be conducted over here, and it will be keeping the thing stable. So it is also, Zener is also used to stabilize the output voltages of any device. Now there is another interesting application for Zener, and that is known as Zener limiting. Zener diode can be used in AC applications to limit the voltage swings actually at desired level. You can see that if you want to restrict or limit the voltage swings, to a desired level, you see that this voltage is too much high, but this voltage is too much low. So you want to let's say limit the voltage, you want to decrease this voltage, or you want to inverse this thing. Now now there is another very interesting application for Zener, that is known as Zener limiting. You can see that in this diagram you are giving an AC wave, and you want to clip some wave from here that we use in a clipper, and you want to clip some of the wave from here. So how can you do that? You can easily do that by using a Zener with a resistor. You can see that you applied a AC voltage or AC signal, and it actually trimmed, or you can say the clipped, the upper portion from here to a certain level, and it clipped away the other portion in the denominator, or you can say from the bottom of the wave. So it basically clipped out these areas, and you got what you needed. Similarly, if you change the direction of this Zener to inverse or reverse direction, you can actually achieve in the result in the opposite direction as well. Let's say you have the same input, and if you you have just changed the direction of the diode, you actually uh, clipped away this area and this area by just changing the direction of the diode. And if you added two diodes over here, both in the opposite direction, you are actually basically conducting the same clips. You are clipping the same ranges from either sides. You have input, like say you have an input like this, so you want to equally clip the data, or you can say this voltage signal. So you can do that by placing the two Zener diode at different directions from each other, and the result will be like this. You have equally clipped the data from the upper side as well as from the lower side. There will be equal clipping. So this is another very interesting application, and this is known as Zener limiting. So let's take an example for the Zener diode. Let's say a 5 volt power supply is required to be produced by to be to do, let's say we have a 5 volt power supply, and we require let's say we want to establish a 5 volt power supply from 12 volt power supply. So we are the input should be 10 or 12 volts. We are given that the input is 12 volt power supply. From here P in is 12 volt, but it is in DC, and the maximum power rating PZ of Zener diode is 2 watt. This is the power rating of this diode actually, and using a Zener regulator circuit, we have to calculate the maximum current flowing through the Zener diode. That what is the maximum current, IZM. You have to calculate this IZM. The value of the resistors that is in series, the value of this resistor that are in series, and the load current IL. What is the load current that is going towards here? And because it is going towards the load actually, so what will be the load current if the load is of 1 kilowatt? So the RL, the value of RL is basically 1 kilowatt that is connected across the Zener diode. And what is the total power supply? Total supply current, IS. What is the total supply current that is taken from the power supplies? So this is a very interesting example. You can see that we are using all the knowledge that we gained in today's class in summary. So starting from the maximum current, what is the maximum current that is taken from the IS for the Zener? So we know that current is basically nothing but uh, watts divided by voltage. We know the formula of power P, that is in watt, is equal to voltage into current. So if you want to calculate the current, we actually divide the power to the voltage. So the power is given that the Zener is of 2 watts, and we want the output should be at 5 volts. So by dividing these two, we got the value of the current in the Zener, the maximum current, that is 400 milliampere. After that, we have to find the value of the resistor that is in series. So you know that the resistor is series, you can see that it is nothing but the difference between these voltages Vs and V divided by Is, the current. So you can see that this is the equation. You have the difference between the voltages and it is divided by the current, that is across Zener. So 12 minus 5 divided by 400, you get the value of the resistor that is connected in series, that is 17.5 ohm. And after you got the value of Rs, now we can easily find the value of IL. You can see that IL is nothing but this voltage divided by this resistance. So we divided the voltage, we have the voltage of 5 volts. We know that the output should be at 5 volts, and it is given that the load across that voltage is 1 kilowatt, 1 kilo ohm or 1000 ohm. So you just divided both of these terms to find the value of the load current, and in the last you can easily sum up these using a KCL. You know that current, the current leaving from the node should be equal to the current leaving, current entering the node. So using the same formula, the total supply, current supply that you would require from that power supply is 400 milliampere for the Zener actually, and 5 milliampere for the load actually. This is for the load. So the total current that you will be withdrawing with from the power supply of 12 volt DC is actually 405 milliampere. So in today's class we have learned about a Zener diode that is operated in the reverse bias condition, and it is required in many applications. You can use it for stabilizing purposes or limiting purposes, and there are several other applications that you can actually perform with this diode. I hope to see you in the class. If you have any questions, please write it down with yourself on a question on a white paper, so that we can discuss it in the class. I hope to see you in the class, inshallah. That's all for today. Allah Hafiz.